I would like to put the presentation just to start. Yeah, it's a huge honor to be here today to talking to you all. I'm Giancarlo, I'm from Brazil, and in this wake-up call, I would like to invite all of us to think about for whom are we talking about climate adaptation. The climate crisis is not new. Everyone here is already aware of the immense challenges communities are facing, especially in the Global South and among marginalized groups. But if we know what is happening, if so much knowledge has already been produced, and so many negotiations have already taken place, why haven't we moved forward as we should? What is missing from this global effort to make climate action truly effective? All the photos that I'm going to show here are from small and medium-sized cities impacted by climate change in Brazil and around the world. I made those questions, but I won't pretend to have an answer. I believe we all are here to search for possible answers together, but I do have some hypotheses. As I said, my name is Giancarlo. I am 24 years old. I am a gay, black, Latin American man from Brazil. I am a climate justice activist, a former city councilor elected in my city, a political scientist, a master in public policy from the University of Oxford. But none of those titles have taught me more than my own lived experience. I grew up in a periphery of a small town in São Paulo. Since I was born, I have lived with both climate change and deep social inequality. Extreme weather is getting worse, but poverty has shaped daily life in Brazil for generations. Climate change magnifies that crisis. The disruption for those people that my friend talked earlier today is already happening every day in Brazil. That's why I chose to act. I became an activist with 16. At 20, I was elected the youngest city councilor in my town and the first openly LGBTQ person ever elected there. One of the 9 representatives of 50,000 inhabitants. I fought every day against inequality and climate injustice. My focus was on building sustainable urban policies for marginalized communities. Because you can't tackle inequality or climate crisis without asking how and for whom our cities are designed. Through this work, we passed over 20 public policies, real change in my city. And yet, something was missing. That something was scale. Many leaders still describe climate events as natural disaster in Brazil. National plans and international efforts overwhelmingly focus on big cities, which make up just 2% of all Brazilian municipalities. Meanwhile, more than 90 million people are nearly ignored when it comes to climate effects. Who are our NDCs really for? Brazil has about 5,000 municipalities. 90 of them have fewer than 100,000 people. Cities like mine. Cities are still built for the wealth and mostly white people. People who, unsurprisingly, don't die when climate disasters strike. Today, only 6% of Brazilian cities are prepared for the climate impacts. If smaller cities and communities are the most vulnerable, why are we not looking at them? My hypothesis is that we are looking in the wrong place. Local action has extraordinary power. In Brazil and across the world, climate action remains top-down. National governments create vague policies that rarely reach local realities. There is no local capacity building, no financing, no political support. Until we address climate federalism and build real local governance, those who emit the least will keep suffering the most. For whom are we writing these reports? City-level action is urgent. That's why I founded, and I am currently the executive director of GV Cities. GV means return to the beginning, in Tupi-Guarani, an indigenous Brazilian language. Our mission is to rebuild climate governance from the local level, treating cities as the main actor. We are a think and do think. Helping small and medium-sized cities implement sustainable, just-driven urban policy. We work through advocacy, policy research, strategic communication, and leadership training, influencing and helping city halls focus on small and medium-sized territories. We have already worked in over 8 cities in Brazil, influencing decisions that impact more than 18 million people every day. We have engaged politicians from 18 parties, from the left to the right, and 17 states. Our policy briefs have reached over 5 million online, and our digital activism has reached over 10 million people. We are reshaping the climate justice narrative, starting with cities. Among the key policies we advocate for, the policies that we advocate for are mitigation and adaptation, strategies centered on vulnerable populations, walkable cities, and as a core pillar, fare-free public transportation, so that mobility is treated as a right. Building resilient transportation system, as our panel is going to discuss, it starts by ensuring everyone can access the city. Gevi and I are committed to making public transportation a right, not a commodity. Today, over 132 cities in Brazil already have fare-free public transportation, a reference in the world, fulfilling our constitutional right to mobility. We have normalized a transportation system where only those who can afford can move freely. Fare-free transit has changed that. It empowers, as my Indian friend mentioned, families economically. It strengthens local economies, reduces emissions, and open access to greener jobs. It's also replaced the unstable fare-free based funding module. Fare does not pay the bill of public transportation. A resilient system needs robust public funding. As long as passengers are the key to subsidize this system, true resilience is not possible. Talking about fare-free transport is talking about climate adaptation. But more than that, fare-free public transport is about climate justice. It gives access to job, income, and the city, especially for the poorest and the most marginalized. In Brazil, fare-free means give access for those that had never accessed the city, who suffer the most when disaster hits. If we want governance that works for those most impacted by the climate crisis, we must start with cities. We must put communities first, and we must ask, for whom are we building action? I hope this panel today and this conference help us to shift our focus to those who are not at the decision-making table, but who are always the first to pay the price when the climate crisis strikes. Thank you.